Hello, I'm Barbara Cannon. I'm going to give you a short tour of my garden. My family and I live out in Ponderosa Park, which is about 5 miles south of Prescott. And we live in the forest, which I love because it's beautiful. But the dirt out here isn't good for gardens, so we had to dig out garden beds in this hill and haul in soil that would work for a garden. Down on the lower level here, I have tomatoes, a lot of cherry tomatoes because my family likes cherry tomatoes. I also have an apple tree in there. I'm hoping I'll get some apples maybe next year. I have 4 o'clock flowers here that bloom more in the morning. I also had lettuce here. It bolted and I'm going to replant so I can get lettuce this fall. I have some strawberry plants. I had more. I'll plant more next spring. Up here I have snapdragons and bell pepper plants and a potato plant that's a volunteer from last year. Its leaves are starting to turn yellow, which means the potatoes are developing under the ground now, or will start at least. I have some parsley plants that bolted also. I'm going to let them go to seed and see if they give me more parsley plants next year. If they don't, I'll replant. Parsley grows well out here. I also have flowers up here. I have a rose bush that my son gave me for Mother's Day that's putting out a lot of branches right now. I have carrots and more marigolds. I found that marigolds tend to turn into bushes, so I probably don't need to plant as many next year. I also found that carrot seeds do better than there's something called tape with some seeds on it. These are the tape. They barely put out anything. Just planting by seed worked a lot better. I have a little bit of broccoli over here and some different marigolds I tried out. They're called key lime marigolds, and I don't think they put out the right kind of smell to deter pests, but they're interesting. Over here I have a couple of compost bins and some cucumbers and another tomato plant that was a volunteer from last year. Some things that I've learned in my gardening, my 3 years of gardening now, at least out here, is that first thing I needed was a really good fence. I call this my Fort Knox fence because we have deer, we have javelina, we have a lot of critters who would enjoy eating what I have in the garden. So it's tall, and at the top I bent the top part over a little, so it's you can see it a little better over there, so that deer are less likely to jump in. They don't like to jump over things that are vertical. They prefer things that are perfectly, they don't like to jump over things that are horizontal. They like it to be perfectly vertical. And so far it's kept the deer out, and I've been happy about that. I haven't had anything come in my garden yet in the 3 years besides my cats sneaking in sometimes while I'm in here. But I shoo them out because I don't like their fertilizer that they contribute. I also learned that a drip system is definitely the best way to water. I've been watering by hand this year because I wanted to put in steps, which Joel Hernandez put in for me, and he did a great job. And I didn't want the drip line to be in the way of installing the steps. But if I had put a drip line in like I had last year, all of my plants would be bigger because the drip line waters more deeply and uses less water, and so you have a lower watering bill. So I highly recommend a drip system. I'm going to install one hopefully this week and get that going again because of the drought. I also have learned a lot by talking to others and just experimenting and learning what my family likes to eat and what we don't like to eat. I've planted more tomatoes and fewer other things. Like I found radishes grow really well, but we don't eat radishes, so I haven't planted those again. And down here under this tarp I have a small greenhouse that I want to build and utilize this winter. And I hope that you've enjoyed my little tour, and I look forward to seeing your gardens virtually.